Just when you thought your day really sucked.
You suck!
Here comes something to make it suck even more. It's a Lamont and Tonelli podcast.
You know, I'll tell you, this is one of my favorite guests that we have on. Whenever he comes to town, he is a must guest for us. And I'm talking about Kevin Pollak, who is in town this week. Is that right, Kevin?
Starting tonight through Saturday at the Punchline, you are correct, sir.
All right, good stuff. Hey, you know, it's funny because we've had you on the show for years. And do you ever go to Wikipedia?
Well, first of all, don't say it like we're both 100.
No, but over the years though, we've had a pretty good relationship, and you've been on a fairly regular guest on our show. And the reason I bring it up like that is because over the years that we've got to know you, I'm reading things about you on Wikipedia I had no idea.
Can I make one suggestion?
Yeah.
Stay the hell away from Wikipedia.
Well, first off, you are a San Francisco native. Is that correct?
I am, and yet I believe it says somewhere in the Wikipedia page that I have family in Chicago, which I do not.
At least not that you know of.
All right. So should I, now this also in Wikipedia, should I disregard this one? It says that you are considered the next Milton Berle with the largest wang in show business. Is that right?
A, you've completely fabricated that. B, could you please add it to the Wikipedia?
Oh, hold it. That's right. Sully was doing the research for me. I stand corrected.
Hey, Kevin, I didn't realize that you came out with a book last year.
Over the holidays, yeah, in December. It's called How I Slept My Way to the Middle. And that is also the correct response. But the reason for the name, you've heard it's lonely at the top. I'm here to tell you it's fantastic in the middle. And I realized this a while back as a character actor. You know, I got to have a life. I get work based on my work. You know, every actor wants to get an offer as opposed to have to audition. That happened after A Few Good Men. I've done a few movies since then. I don't know the exact number, 64, but some of them good, about 6 maybe. So I get the offers. I don't have to audition, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Any actor's dream, really. But paparazzi doesn't chase me down the street, although TMZ did cover my divorce, those bastards.
Oh, yeah, they don't miss anything. Hey, you must have huge balls, even though your Wikipedia page doesn't say that. Because did you actually really turn down your first invitation to do The Tonight Show?
Well, it's a very long story in the book in order to make any sort of sense over who would actually do such a thing as you've laid it out.
Yeah.
In short form. I basically had been fantasizing about doing The Tonight Show as a stand-up comedian since I was 10 years old. And, you know, I rose to sort of the top of the field in San Francisco in the early 80s, which, dear God, is 30 years ago now. So maybe we are both 100. And then by the time I got around to going to The Tonight Show with a few other friends who were doing it themselves, getting to know the talent booker, I always called him the gatekeeper, so I stumble across any other title.
Yeah.
He was the gatekeeper. He was in charge of knighting stand-up comedians to be on The Tonight Show. And he knew a couple things. One, you didn't have to have just one appearance prepared and ready, and TV and Tonight Show ready. You had to have 2, because if Johnny loved the comedian that this guy brought on, his name was Jim McCauley, the gatekeeper. If Jim brought on somebody that Johnny loved, then Johnny would say, you know what, you're going to have that kid back on in about 2 weeks. Can you do that, Jim? And if Jim couldn't, Johnny would rip off his head and crap down his neck. So it was a lot of pressure for Jim. So I would see him circle other comedians, and I was at the Improv in Los Angeles, which was sort of became the home base. Speaking of which, the Punchline this weekend actually is my home base. That's where I sort of came up in the world, and it was my first home court.
Yeah.
So when I moved to LA, the Improv became that, and I would see Jim around. So the night finally came where he tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, Kevin. I said, hey, Jim, who are you here to see tonight? And he said, you. And I said, yeah, okay. who are you here to see? He said, well, I was here to see somebody else, but I'm going to look at your act tonight. I think you're ready for the show.
Yeah.
And this crazy lightning bolt went off in my head. And I found myself saying to him before I could shove the words back down my throat, listen, Jim, I've been waiting for this opportunity since I was 10, so please don't misunderstand what I'm about to say, although it may sound crazy. I now think I'll have a better impact on the couch, sitting next to Johnny, doing my impressions of Peter Falk and William Shatner and whoever else I mock at the time.
Yeah.
But I said, I understand there's a protocol, and you can't just bring me straight to the couch. So I tell you what, I'm willing to wait till I have a TV show or a movie, and then you can justify bringing me to the couch. And then when I sit next to the king and I do my impersonations, I just think it'll have a much greater impact. And he looked at me like I was an alien. Apparently that hadn't happened too often in his experience. And I saw that look in his eye, and I said, listen, I may call you back in an hour and beg for this opportunity back. And he said, no, listen, I can't disagree with you. Your kind of act ultimately does play better on the couch. I'm glad you appreciate that there is a protocol, and I'm not just bringing you on the show and sitting you on the couch. So do you have a TV show or a movie coming out soon? And I said, not right away. At the time,
yeah.
I not only didn't have a TV show or a movie, I didn't have an audition for a TV show or a movie. I was just young and stupid and saw some crazy vision. So it took about a year and a half. I did the Ron Howard, George Lucas movie called Willow. Mine and Rick Overton's part actually shot up in San Rafael, the largest blue screen facility at the time.
Yeah.
Willow, weirdly, just celebrated its 25th anniversary, or so I was told on Twitter.
God, you must be 100 years old.
Yeah. I've got to be 105. By the time the story ends, I'll be 106. So it took a year and a half. Had the movie Willow for Jim to justify bringing me to the couch as my next guest, who's a young actor. He's making his first appearance here on the show. Please welcome Kevin Pollak. And I came out. I'd rehearsed that about 6,500 times, waved to Doc, even though we'd never met. I cross over to the couch, shake Johnny's hand, sit next to him. Within 10 seconds, he says, now, somebody told me you do Peter Falk. We love Peter here on the show. Is that right? And I said, Johnny, I don't understand why anybody would tell you this kind of nonsense. And I'm moving one eye.
Yeah.
And he clutches, he pushes himself away from the desk. He's laughing so hard. And had me back on the show 3 times a year until he retired. It was the single greatest you've got big balls moment of my career without question.
Oh, that is beautiful. Okay, Punchline, you're starting tonight, and you're playing right on through till Sunday. Is that right?
I'm off Sunday. I'm flying actually to New York to participate in former President Clinton's big charity event. It's a poker tournament, so I have to leave on Sunday. So I can go play cards with the big boys. You know what I'm saying?
Now, have you played with Clinton before?
Well, if you're talking about poker, no.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, yes.
Yeah, well, no, we've hustled chicks together. That's what you're asking.
All right, so tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday at the Punchline. Always a treat talking to you, Kevin.
My pleasure. Always great. I don't care what Wikipedia says.
All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.
The great Kevin Pollak at Punchline.
Another fine product from Uranus.
That concludes the Lamont and Tonelli podcast. To hear more and everything Lamont and Tonelli, check out the website at lntworld.com.